Hey guys, Trev here from SpineWise, and I want to talk to you today if you're suffering from neck pain, maybe you're not getting results from it, maybe you're not having your treatment improve your situation like you thought it would. And I want to talk to you today about how your jaw may be contributing to that and why it's one of the more common areas that is missed. You see, the jaw has a huge influence on the neck, but people, when they talk generally about jaw problems or what we call temporomandibular disorders, TMD, what we're really talking about in most situations are you getting pain in the jaw itself through that area? And very, very few people really understand exactly how the jaw has massive, and I mean enormous, influence on the health of your neck. So I want to go through that today and explain to you why you might need to be looking at your jaw and what the possible warning signs are that you may need to look at your jaw if you're suffering with recurrent neck pain. So let's go through and start talking through a couple of key points here. So the first one I want to talk to you about is the movement pattern. So just simple movement itself. So the jaw itself, we can see here this bottom jaw. When your bottom jaw moves around, the actual pivot points from the condyles on top of it actually cross at C2, which is this second vertebrae through here. And what happens is when the jaw moves and rotates, the second cervical vertebrae actually moves with it. So it's a really interesting phenomenon. So if the jaw moves this way, your second cervical vertebrae tends to move like that. The jaw moves that way, it tends to move like that. And even if you tilt, it tends to tilt with it as well. It's a really amazing bit of biomechanics to see the jaw and the C2 be so closely associated together. So just purely from a structural perspective, if we have a jaw that tends to constantly go to the left, we'll tend to have a second cervical vertebrae that constantly tends to rotate as well. And this can cause endless amounts of grief, and in some cases can cause people to get recurrently manipulated and things like this to try and resolve it, when really it's just a passenger and a secondary to the true cause of what's going on behind the scenes. So the second one is that the jaw really has a massive influence on neck neurology. And the main reason for that is if we follow the nervous system up, we have these key nerves that you can see coming through here. This is your trigeminal nerve. And your trigeminal nerve is really, really, really important for us. So the reason why the trigeminal nerve is so important is because it comes from that and it basically looks after your face, heads into your midbrain, the mesencephalon, the top part of your brain, which is really our flight or fight centers. It's really our sympathetic outflow. And the whole reason for that is so that if anything threatens your face, you can automatically protect yourself, which is a really key thing that we need in order to protect our face. Even when you're walking down the street and a little bug gets to your eye, sometimes you'll blink even before you're aware that there was something there. This is partly due to the trigeminal influence on it. And from that area there, we actually have outflow to our neck muscles as well. So when we start having the jaw start playing havoc with our trigeminal nerve, often the result is that we have a wind up of those neck muscles as well, which starts creating dysfunction in the neck. So there's a second way that the jaw can be influencing your neck function. The third one is our bite pattern. So our bite pattern is really critical. So we should have a nice smooth bite where our front teeth touch first and then the pressure shifts across to the back. So we kind of get the situation where our teeth touch at the front, it slides in and guides our rear teeth, our molars, to then hit on each other. In some circumstances with some people, what happens is we have this pressure on the front and they get stuck there and we have our only contact at the front rather than at the back, or other areas such as cross bites that then put a huge amount of torquing force at the joint and start changing function within our neck as well. So we get muscular shifts because of the way our teeth contact. So this is the next one where we have our bite pattern actually influencing our neck musculature, and it's actually more common than you may think. Like, it sounds like it's a bit far-fetched and there's not many people who suffer from that, but it is actually quite common to see people who have bite pattern influences, especially in younger people. The last one we're talking about is the position of the jaw itself changing our head carriage. And this is something we often see with people who have airway issues. So what happens is, if the jaw is sitting posteriorly, so it's too far back like this, so the jaw has come back in this fashion here, so it's come backwards this way. Down here sits your airways, and as the jaw goes back, it pushes the tongue back into your airways as well, decreasing the size of your airways and reducing the amount of airflow you can get going into your lungs. And this is really critical, especially at night. So So often what will happen to get around that is the body will actually rotate the head back and bring the head forward, the neck forward in that position, to try and bring the jaw forward and to open up our airways. And in that position, now we've got this really heavy weight that's now sitting a long way forward of our back, changing the gravitational line through it, and again putting a lot of force on these muscles at the back here as our head position becomes more like this rather than this, okay? And this can be really, really important as well. So there's a few key ways. So number one, to remember that our C2 and our jaw, the second cervical vertebrae and our jaw move together. Next one is that the jaw has massive influence on the neurology within the neck muscles. Third one is that our bite pattern can influence the neck muscles directly. And then our jaw position can change our head carriage as well. So they're four key things. So when should we suspect any of these things? When should we go looking for these things as a cause of neck problems? So the first one, and is the obvious one, is that you failed to respond to traditional therapy. So let's say you've tried your exercise regime, you've tried a massage regime, you've had some kind of manipulative therapy, you're having massage, any of these types of traditional neck orientated things, and you're just not responding, or your improvement is short-lived. So this is one of the times that we want to start suspecting that. Second one is if you're grinding or you're clenching. If you're grinding or clenching, this is often a sign that you're going to have problems with your bite pattern. If not, you're going to be creating problems with your bite pattern, and this can lead to issues here as well. Next one is if your teeth are really crowded. So if you have teeth that are just sitting on top of each other, or they're bent, they're sort of squashing in on top of each other, this can potentially be associated with a bite pattern change, which means your occlusion where the teeth touch may not be correct, and that may be creating problems for your neck as well. Airway problems. So if you snore, if you have sleep apnea, these type of things can often again be a sign of airway issues, which means the jaw may be sitting in the wrong position, which could be contributing potentially to your neck issues. If you get migraines or if you get headaches, we know that the trigeminal nerve is directly associated with this pattern of migraine headache through what we call the trigeminal vascular pathway. And if you're interested in that stuff, you can have a look at my migraine section. I've done a heap of videos on migraine with the trigeminal vascular pathway. So if we're having changes to, if we're getting migraines or headaches, there's a good chance you've got trigeminal vascular pathway changes. And again, this is something commonly associated with the jaw. And one of the key things as well is face pain. So if you're getting pain in your face, then this can actually be a sign again that there's irritation to the trigeminal nerve. Can be a sign of a lot of other things as well, but one of the key things it can be a sign of is trigeminal nerve irritation, which is jaw problems once again. So there's a handful of ways that you might be able to suspect whether your neck pain might be part of a jaw problem rather than just the neck itself. And a few different ways that it's associated with it. If you are having neck pain problems and you want to know a little bit more about the jaw, or you're not sure whether you fit into a category or not, or whether this could be an issue or not, or perhaps you just have a couple of questions you want to ask, just post them up. Always happy to answer questions in any way, shape or form, help as many people as we can. Even if we can't see you then, and you're on the other side of the world, we're happy to help you out in any way we can. But if you have any direct questions and don't want to post them up, just personal message me. You can do that anytime you want via our Facebook page. It comes directly to me and I'll answer your questions in any way, shape or form that I can. Anyway guys, hopefully have a fantastic week and we'll see you in the next vid. Bye for now.